좋아요, 구독!
월가 트레이더 버니의 미국 주식 시간으로 돌아왔습니다. ETF 투자에 대해서 계속해서 이야기를 해주고 계시는데요. 오늘은 이 투자자들이 원하는 투자 유형과 스타일 등 주식 구성을 능동적으로 관리할 수 있는 방법에 대해서 알려주신다고 합니다. 오늘도 미국 시카고 현지에 있는 버니 씨의 의견 들어보시면서 투자에 도움되시기를 바랍니다. 준비해준 내용 지금 바로 만나보겠습니다.
So what we've done so far is we've talked about ETFs. We've talked about what are they. We've talked about the different kinds of ETFs you can have. Now let's say you identify your different type of ETF you want, an investment class, investment style, passive, active, all sorts of different things. Now you want to be able to say, okay, well, within that space, are there ways that I can optimize the stock composition within that space? Typically, the stock composition remains the same. So what we've got now, and we've had for the last, say, a lot since '08, but for the last 20 years, we've got what's called smart beta. Smart beta basically allows you to combine the benefits of passive investing with some active investment strategies, but it's all quantitative based. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to use alternative index construction instead of being able to say, okay, give me, like, if I'm going to look in consumer technology and I'll have Apple and I'll have different companies there, okay, and I want Apple to maintain 6.7% of my portfolio, okay, what we're now going to do is we're going to say, okay, I'm going to be in that consumer technology space, but I want to be able to find the best stocks, not necessarily by market capitalization, but the best stocks to be able to be in. If you have them by market capitalization, if that space goes up 12%, you'll go up approximately 12%. If you change that to be more active and be able to select stocks regardless of their market capitalization, but actually try and identify factors that improve the performance of stocks within that space, you can do that. And that space then may be up 12%, but you may be up 16%. If you can truly identify factors that have a positive effect on stock prices. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to capture market inefficiencies and be able to make sure that, like, say, for example, there's a stock in that space that's really underperforming and going down, and there's a problem with the company, you can, as opposed to constantly rebalancing as that stock price goes down, you can just eliminate that stock by a factor analysis. So the increasing popularity of this is because there's people that want to be able to have portfolio risk management in place on top of the fact that they're in a specific sector, a specific investment class, that sort of thing. And they want to have, hopefully, risk-adjusted returns greater than the returns within the space that that ETF represents. So it basically combines the benefits of passive investing with some advantages of active portfolio management. And what they're trying to do is identify, obtain alpha, absolute return, okay, keep the risk down or increase the diversification so that they can actually outperform the passive style, and yet they can also beat the traditional investment style of actively managed funds or ETFs, and it's better than just straight index investing. So overall, it's trying to identify the best way they can compose a portfolio within the space that they're looking at. And Finally, you can do this in all sorts of different ways. You can do it in equities, you can do it in fixed income, you can do it in commodities, you can do it in real estate, you can do it in any multi-asset portfolio, anything you want to do. So now let's look at the growth of this thing. So you can see that post-2008, this has really grown a tremendous amount. And we've gone from zero to like $1.4 trillion worth of assets within this space. Assets in equities, assets in fixed income, assets in real estate, assets in all the different kinds of smart beta ETFs that you can find. And when we look at, say, for example, is the different kinds of ETFs, okay, and the number of ETFs that we have in their exchange-traded portfolios, okay, you can see there's growth, value, dividend, multi-factor, risk-oriented, quality, fundamental, momentum, fixed income, commodity. So you can see there's all sorts of different kinds. Then when you look at the organic growth in here, you can see that the biggest decline was in the risk-oriented sector in 2021. Everything else grew pretty good. Now that's 2021, not 2022. So you still see all this growth going. So we went basically up 10% last year in terms of where the portfolio was at the beginning of the year towards where the portfolio was at the end of the year. When I just look at, so now you can break it out by month and you can see how the growth has started. 2008, we all of a sudden started going up on a higher basis. We have had some redemptions go on. This right here represents the onset of COVID. Okay, and you can see how the increases in 2021 were substantially higher, and the increases in 2020 and 2021 and 2019, 2018 were much bigger than they were prior to that. So you can see that the growth is going on. But now when we want to look at, okay, let's look at now going through into this year. This is 12-month growth compared to 12-month growth a year ago. So you can see it's grown a lot, okay? And obviously, it can't maintain that growth, and it's having a difficulty maintaining that growth within a declining stock market because there's not a lot of new asset investing going on right now with the stock market that's declining. But this space has been a tremendous growth space over time, and you're able to identify sectors that you want, investment styles that you want, all sorts of different things, and then to be able to use factor-based analysis to be able to create an optimal portfolio that is actively managed. It will change over time based on those quantitative factors. So it's mostly computer generated and it's all quantitative based, and what they're trying to do is outperform a traditional passive investment within a sector style space.
좋아요, 구독!